Can you beat Slime Rancher without spending any Newbucks? In a game that disguises capitalism behind cute and marketable characters, getting over 1 million of this currency is required to 100% complete the game. However, what happens if we take a more frugal approach? I'm defining beating the game the same way that speedrunners define it for an any percent glitchless run, which is to see the end credits. But what is actually required to see the end credits isn't easy to find online. Is it even possible? Or is there a minimum that we'll have to shell out? Before watching this video, leave your guesses in the comments. Is it 0, 350, 10,500? Who knows? At the start of the game, you are given 1 corral and 250 Newbucks, though since we can't spend those Newbucks on any upgrades, the corral might as well not exist, as even pink slimes can escape by jumping on each other. That doesn't really matter to us, as we don't have a need to sell plorts, nor can we use them for slime science since we can't access the lab. Our number one priority is going to be getting our hands on a slime key. You only need 2 to beat the game normally, but since we don't have a jetpack to skip the optional gates, we have to open the intended number of gates, being 5. The first Gordo slime we feed will be the pink one, found on a weird island off the dry reef. So we grab whatever food we can find in the area and easily secure our first key. But the question then becomes, what gates should we open? Whilst you have to open 5 gates to see the credits, which 5 gates you need to open aren't predetermined. That being said, the choice is still between the moss blanket and the indigo quarry. 2 places we'll have to visit regardless. So I opened the moss blanket since I'm more familiar with navigating the area, and the indigo quarry's Gordo slimes either don't provide slime keys or are harder to access in comparison. At least, that's what I thought I did until I watched my footage back. Just goes to show how trivial this decision really is. If you want to see my thought process at the time, I'll have a video linked in the description for you to watch after this one. There's not much for us to do in the indigo quarry because I realised that we couldn't get to the rad Gordo without the jetpack, so we returned to the dry reef to manage to skip a slime gate jetpackless, which allows us to get an additional slime key without using one. First, we have to make a few tight leaps to feed a tabby Gordo to get access to Ring Island, which requires a lot of chickens, and without the ability to buy a coop, we have to spend half an hour sucking them up free range. In the meantime, we collect cuberries and pogo fruit to give to the phosphor Gordo in the cave, and open the gate to the moss blanket where we grab a boom and honey plort for later. We eventually make it to Ring Island and feed the pink Gordo there to get our 3rd slime key to access the ancient ruins, taking the boom and honey plorts with us, and then feed the local slimes to obtain the plorts necessary to unlock the gate. We have to run back to the indigo quarry to grab a rad plort, which is why we had to unlock that gate since I didn't want to spend ages on the range exchange trying to trade with someone. After unlocking the gate, we then go back to the moss blanket and burst open the honey Gordo, which requires a lot of precise jumps to get to without the jetpack. I then use the emergency return to leave the jungle and start collecting fruit to make into phase lemons. Without a garden to grow any in, it takes a while to get enough, especially when the slimes get to them before you do, which isn't a big deal since we need some quantum plorts for later on. We then hop, skip and jump our way over to the north side of the ancient ruins where a quantum Gordo is waiting for us, and we feed it what we have and then go to the glass desert while we wait for the rest to grow. The whole point of the glass desert is to bring life back to it after getting 3 rock plorts and putting them in statues, but we can't do that since we can't buy the water tank upgrade for our backpack, which makes it impossible to collect the ancient water. There's no fruit that grows without it that is currently accessible to us, so we just wait with some puddle slimes until the fruit in the ancient ruins grows back. We're just going to ignore the fact that I died immediately after all of that waiting and so wasted my time in not doing an emergency return. With our final slime key in hand, we return to the glass desert, which remains lifeless despite activating the fountain, and use all of our leaping techniques to make it to the message where Hobson says that he misses his wife. We then do one last emergency return and skim read Casey's emails to see the end credits roll after 2 hours of gameplay. And with that, I have proven that Slime Rancher can be beaten without spending any Newbucks. I genuinely wasn't sure if this was even possible before I managed to do it, since I couldn't find anyone else making a video on it, and I couldn't tell if you had to buy any backpack upgrades or something to see the Another Tour star mail. And in case you were wondering the same thing, now you know. Thank you all so much for watching this little video. If you have enjoyed it, please leave a comment to let me know that you're a real person watching, and with all that being said, all I have left to say is bye for now.